Hello everyone, this is Nishu Trikha and I am here today representing the short video about instructional leadership, a framework that has truly transformed my way of teaching. I have been using this approach to teach young learners in mathematics from grade 1 to grade 5. Through this presentation, we will deep dive into the role of collaborative lesson study model for improving learning outcomes for these young students. I hope you will like this video, so let's start. Now, in my second slide, I will talk about the challenge young learners and concept understanding. During my years teaching young learners, I understood that it's very difficult for them to grasp complex concepts, especially in mathematics and science. So, according to me, the basic reason for this delayed understanding are issues like poor collaboration within student groups, inconsistent engagement by the teacher, and the vast different learning needs that stem for every student unique background. These common problems often go unattended and significantly affect children's score and overall outcomes. After deeply understanding these issues, I turn toward instructional leadership as a systematic solution. As defined by Hallinger and Murphy, instructional leadership is not about personal power, it's about implementing a focused process where improving student learning outcomes is the central goal, supported by guided teachers and pedagogical improvement. This framework involves six crucial constructive steps. Step 1 is understanding the problem and setting a clear instructional vision. Step 2 is upgrading our curriculum and resources for continuous improvement, leading to step 3, data deriving instruction. In step 4, we provide equal access for interventions. Step 5 is developing a system for peer discussions and collaboration. And finally, step 6 is offering training and coaching to teachers for continuous growth. As Robinson clarifies, this style is vital because it involves monitoring classroom practice and ensuring reflective teaching for constant improvement. In this slide, I will discuss the collaborative study model, often called the lesson study model. I found this model to be highly effective because it truly deepens children's conceptual understanding while boosting teachers' rational thinking and motivation. What is this model? It has four major steps. First, collaborative planning against an identified issue, ensuring the plan is always student centric. Second, teaching and observation, where the model teacher delivers the revised lesson and observers collect data on the lesson's effectiveness from the students. Third, analysis and reflection, where we analyze the collected data and reflect critically on any shortcomings. Step 4 is the final and crucial. Now, why did I choose this specific model? The reason is its excellent fit with human psychology. Collaborative learning can be effectively conducted using both social constructivism and cognitive load theory. Both theories rely on proper planning, observation, analysis, and improvement. The important difference is that social constructivism is problem centric and outcome oriented, focusing on peer interaction. In contrast, cognitive load theory, Sweller, focuses on improving the instructional design itself, aiming to reduce students' mental effort by removing extra confusing information and optimizing learning. We will now understand the steps involved in using social constructivism in a lesson study. Since this model is problem centric, the first step is identifying the problem and discussing it with the team. Second, we plan to create an active practice so young teachers can learn by participating. Third, the model teacher teaches and the observer collects data on concept understanding. Step 4 involves analyzing data and conducting data driven instructions and revising the lesson. For example, my students confused area and perimeter. My team and I decided to use tiles for area and paint the corners or perimeter. But students became confused when the unit changed from M- MKS to CGS. During analysis, we found the lack of unit labels was the confusion point. We revised the lesson, added the labels, and helped students understand the problem in one unit. It worked. It really worked, resulting in clear improvement. Cognitive load theory is another collaborative model where the learner's problem is solved via design improvement. Here, the lesson is targeted via instructional design, and improvements are based on data from student outcomes. For example, I implemented this for young learners struggling with 2D diagrams. Initially, I created the diagram separately and the text card separately to reduce initial visual confusion. However, this didn't help as they couldn't conceptualize the image and text together. So, I applied split attention strategies and combined the diagrams and text using interactive labels. These integrative design actually removed extra mental effort for the student, helping them understand the concept and leading to significant outcome improvements. In this slide, we understand the distinct roles for creating a successful collaborative model. The model teacher role is to teach the researched lesson. The observer collects data on student behavior and test results after the revised lesson, forwarding it to recorder. The recorder facilitator manages team meetings, record findings, drive lesson improvement, and ensure every voice is heard. The entire team's role is to plan the research problem, analyze the data, revise the lesson based on observation and meetings, and synthesize the student outcome results for further sharing and reflection. The mechanism linking the collaborative model to the learning model has been described by Vygotsky and Sweller. The collaborative model informs the learning model by first following a clear goal and theory, then designing the task based on theory's principle, defining clear roles for learning, and finally assessing the process where every voice is heard and reflected upon. Collaborative techniques like reciprocal teaching, structured problem solving, and group simulations directly help improve theoretical models such as social constructivism, cognitive load theory, and experiential learning, respectively. Facilitative leadership is the best style for lesson study model as its main focus is the process and removing obstacles to deep learning among students and teachers. However, other leadership types can be used. Democratic leadership, where all members' decisions matter on critical points, enforces deep trust and collaboration. Instructional leadership focuses on content and pedagogy, which creates fast content improvement. Laissez-faire leadership is also an option where the leader provides goals but no structure or oversight, independently monitoring the process. However, this often results in low accountability and inconsistent quality. I implemented the social constructivism collaborative model for my students who were facing problems in understanding the concept of fractions. Initially, I found it hard to teach them the concept, so I discussed with my team and we decided on the roles. I was the model teacher and others were recorders, observers. We jointly created an interesting concept using pizza for fractions. We asked students to participate and engage, and we recorded their outcomes. We found a 50% increase in their understanding. My team and I critically reflected on the revised lesson and the data gathered. The recorder then kept this methodology in a practical lesson folder for further share and teacher training. We have faced our fair share of challenges and solutions. Time was the biggest constraint for such activities, as every team member is bound by predefined school schedules. So we used extra hours and lunch breaks to reduce this challenge. I also found that most of the time, discussion drift from the student data, so we created orientation classes for teachers to focus specifically on using student data to overcome this. We found that some colleagues fear judgment to participate, so we ensure that we work as one team and they can trust us. Finally, sometimes curricular links like labels or unit conversions were missing. So revised lesson involved inquiry with each team member and their opinion was respected and implemented. With this approach, we created a systematic spread of effective teaching practices. Teachers become coaches and they foster the best practices in teaching. Student outcomes become our goal, and each failure becomes a chance to improve teacher efficiency. Ultimately, this transforms us into sustainable teachers whose primary focus is the continuous improvement of student learning outcomes. Throughout this video, I am sure that instructional leadership can transform teaching quality through collaborative models, critical practice, and constant learning. This can be further enhanced by using digital tools and analyzing data from student results. Instructional leadership is about creating a system where the team helps each other under the instructional framework to improve and reflect for constant progress. In the next slides, I have given references for you further consideration. I believe that this presentation helps you to understand the collaborative learning model via instructional leadership. Thank you.